All right, let's get started. My name is Joseph Schooland. I am with Populi here. I'm an account manager. I might be your school's account manager. I'm not sure. Every school has an account manager. So it's either me or Nick Holloway. Those might be the two names you'd recognize. One thing I help do is a lot of the training, a lot of the onboarding, try and help people get started. Also, any new sales, help people understand what Populi can do for them. And this is another thing I do, are these group trainings, and excited to get this one started. It's also being recorded so that you can view it later on our YouTube channel. A few housekeeping things. One is on your end, you're probably going to see both a chat room and a Q&A box. It's much easier for me to process questions that come through the Q&A box, just the way the interface works on my end. So if you have a question, drop it in there. Don't put it in the chat box or else it might get lost. And I don't want your questions to get lost. So, that's pretty much it. And I think we're ready to go. I'll go ahead and kill the video and share my screen. All right, here we go. I'll go ahead and log in. I'm going to log in as a faculty. Felix Faculty is my name. Before we begin, I just want to, you might have heard this before, you might know this already, so you can zone out if you do, that's okay. Or if you're watching the recording, you can skip over this. But I think it's something that can't be said enough, and that is just, how can you get help? Because we're here to help, and we love providing the best support we can. There's a little help button up here in the top right. You can click on that. If you're the type who likes to research on your own, you can click search the knowledge base. We'll go back to this one and I'll show you some articles that I think are particularly helpful. If you want to reach out to one of our support team, then you can click open a support request and type out your request and hit submit, and it will get sent off to our support team. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, excluding holidays. If you prefer to talk through a problem, then go ahead and give us a call. Our phone number is 877, the number 4, and the word Populi, 8774-POPULI. And if you lose that, you can find that on our public website, populi.co, or even inside our help, our knowledge base, there's a place of how to get a hold of us. So you probably might memorize the number because it's pretty easy, but if you don't, you can find it back. Once you've given your support request, you can view their status here. You'll also get emails back in your inbox whenever someone replies to you. If you have an idea for a feature request, you can do that here. If you want to interact with our other clients and ask questions to them, maybe about just different things they're doing, you can visit the user forum here. I told you I'd go back and point out a couple articles, so I'll do that now, clicking on search the knowledge base. And I did not verify my email before I showed up here, so I'm going to log in as someone else and hop back in here. All right, I'm logged in as me now. We're gonna search the knowledge base. These promoted articles are a great place to keep track of things. Here's one called just on getting started with your school's new Populi site. If you're completely brand new, those are all of our tutorials, step-by-step instructions. And for a lot of them, we have videos that correspond to them on our YouTube channel. If you're helping someone log in, you could send them this. If you want to contact us, this is the place where you can find our number and our hours and stuff I've already explained, but you can drill into that. Or like I said, find us on our public website. We're going to be talking about courses today, or at least one specific thing you can do in a course, and that is using discussions. And so we're going to click on that bubble. And there's lots of different, we kind of break this up in different sections, and one of them is called discussions. So we're going to zoom in on that one. And then here are some ways that we can work through this. We're going to start off here on graded discussions. I'm not going to go through these articles, but I just want you to know where they are. Another one we're going to take a look at is auto grading. for graded discussions. So those are kind of the two that I'm thinking about in the back of my mind as I'm going through this. And if you forget everything as soon as the call is over and you need a memory refresher, come back to Populi, go to our knowledge base, go to the courses and faculty, go in that little discussions list, and you'll find a couple of these to help refresh your memory on what we talked about. You'll also have the recording. All right. I do, even though I had to log out and log back in, I do want to be a faculty. So I'm going to log in as Felix faculty again. All right, the course I want to show you is old, so forgive me for that. But here is where Felix can see his courses. We're going to look at Architecture 253. So this is an undergrad example, but if you're a graduate school, you can think of, just use your imagination how it would fit. It's pretty much the same thing. Lots of stuff here. If you've never seen a course before and are curious what you can do here, then go to our YouTube channel. We've got a recorded training on that. For now, I just want to show you how to set up a discussion. So we're going to start off. First thing you need to do is create an assignment for it, especially if you want it to be a graded discussion. If you don't care if it's a graded discussion and you just want to add it, I've got one here called Water Cooler, not graded. It's just a place where kids can go talk to each other and get to know each other. So you can set them up here just on the discussion page, and it will have nothing to do with your assignments. But today I want to talk to you about graded discussions. So even though I do a little head nod to that, I will skip over that and go right to graded. All right, if you want to know how to set up all your assignments, you can see one of those videos on our YouTube channel. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and add another assignment, pretending I already had all the groups and assignments set up how I want. I just want to add one more. I'm going to give it a name and say, let's see, why are you here? What do you love about architecture? And maybe I'll let some of the kids who are forced to attend my class have a way out too. What do you love or not love about architecture, just to get the conversation going? So I want to choose a type now, and pretty self-explanatory. We're going to do discussion. If I already have a discussion created and I just want to pull it in, so remember I showed you I created that water cooler over there. That's not a graded discussion. If I change my mind, decide, oh wait, no, I want to pull that in and make it graded, then I can grab it now. What we're going to do though is we're going to just create a new discussion. How many points should it have? We'll say 100. And then what group should it be a part of? I've got attendance, exams, projects, and quizzes. We'll say this is one of the projects that has to be done. If you've watched our video on rubrics, then I can add a rubric in here for grading. And I'm going to give it a due date. Now, this is way back in the day. So the latest due date I can give is when this course ends. And this course is like a three-year-long course. So we'll make it end on January 1st, 2016. Time is okay. I'll have it always be available. That means that the students can always see this discussion from the very beginning. If I wanted to, I could say, well, it's always available from between these two dates. So I make a date range. Or I could say, well, it's available after a certain date. So it's around, but it's not going to become available until the certain date, and then it will be available for the rest of the course. Or I could say it's available at the beginning of the course and only until a certain date. So this just depends. If you want to try and help pace the students so they're not jumping into all your assignments at once because they're all always available, then you can create some availability windows to kind of guide them on which ones they're supposed to be working on. I also have a little box I can check here to decide if this is visible to the students before it's available or not. And I'll go ahead and leave that. We'll change it to always available and we'll hit save. All right, now this is popped up in my list under projects. That's the group I chose. The type is discussion. It's a draft right now because I haven't really, there's some finishing touches I got to make on it, and we'll go do that. It's got a name, it's got some points. It's not extra credit. There's no box checked here. It has a due date And it's available for the whole length of the term. And right now it's not any percentage of the course because I haven't finished setting up the graded portion. So to do that, I just click on this name and I click on the discussion name. And that will take me to the discussion page. I can also do that if I was here already. I could do that by going to discussions and then finding it in my list. So I just want to get to that discussions page, however you decide to do it. All right, now there's a few things I want to do. Right now it's still not published, and it looks like my description didn't quite come over, so make a mental note of that. The description doesn't come over, so I'll have to retype what I was thinking of here. What do you love or not love about architecture? All right. I'll go ahead and save that. Still not published, but I've got a topic title and I've got some text here that they can read. It's not published. It's available now. I want to first off, as soon as I publish this, we'll go ahead and publish it now. So I can publish it by hitting save and publish after I've modified this, or I can just switch this published to yes. All right, now if I go back to assignments and go back to why are you here, I can go ahead and just enter grades. So if that's all I want is just a spot to enter some grades, then I'm done. All I had to do is publish it. Most of you probably want more than that, so we'll keep digging a little deeper. Some other things I can do, I'm going to adjust some of these settings, and I'm going to say post first. We'll switch that to yes. That means that the student has to put in their comment. They have to contribute to the discussion before they get to read anybody else's stuff. So hopefully their answers are a little more original. I can say a max number of comments, max number of replies. I can let them continue to edit if they want, or I can say no. Do I want to be able to grade individual comments? We'll go ahead and do that. I'm not going to use a rubric. We'll just say out of 30 points. Do I want to grade individual replies? Sure, we'll do that too. Remember, I've got 100 points total here. Auto grading is set to no right now, but I'll show you how to do that in a sec. Now, I want to get a little more granular here, so I want to set up my auto grading. So I'm going to add some requirements, and we're going to say, instead of, I want Populi to kind of figure out how to grade this for me, and we'll say number of comments, they have to do that at least twice, at least 2 comments, and they'll get 20 points. I could do total number of words, average comment grade, but I also want to do, let's see, and they also have to reply to other students' comments at least twice, and they'll get 20 points for that if they just do that. I'm not going to put any number of words, but let's say average comment grade has got to be 30, and average reply grade has to also be 30. So now I've met my 100. I can see my totals down here. And there's other things we could have done. We could have done total comment words has to be a certain number for this to kick in, or total reply words has to be a certain number, or just total words over everything they've written has to be a certain number. But we'll leave it at that. At least 2 comments, at least 2 replies, and their averages are going to be 30 and 30. I'm just making that because then it makes it easier for my brain when I've got out of 30, and then the averages will be on 32, on 30 also. So now I hit save. So now I've got some requirements. Students will be able to see this, and we'll know how this is going to be calculated. Now, nothing fancy will happen here. This is just sort of a visual, little bit of eye candy, let people see how you're doing things. If we want to take this to the next level, we're going to have to do auto grading. In fact, watch this. If I go back to my assignment page, all I can do is enter grades. And these are grades that I'm going to have to go to the other side and do my own math and come back here. I'm sure none of you want to do that. So let's take it to the next level where we're going to create auto grading. To do auto grading, the first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I've got my comments closed on a certain date. And this date has to be at the end of the term. So it can't go beyond the term. So we'll just say, yes, it's closed. Discussion's closed for comments now, but you could put a date out there sometime when the comments, no students will be able to comment any longer. And then once I've got a date in there, or just go ahead and close it, then I can also add an auto grade time. And that's got to be any time after today. So I hope you can use your imagination and get around these funky dates, because this is an old course, but then we're also working in today's dates. But I'll go ahead and save that. So now what this is going to do is, as students comment and reply, and I grade those comments and replies, then on this date, Populi is going to push all those grades over to the assignment page for me, so I don't have to do it. So it's kind of worthless to set up requirements unless you're also going to set up auto grading. And if you're saying, well, wait a second, this is not very helpful, I don't see any comments or replies, I don't even know what's going on here. Let's look at another course. I can't really jump in and out as a student right now. So let's look at another course where a student did jump in. So I've got our first discussion. Why did you choose architecture? And then this one is out of 15. So this is total is half of everything. So it's the same example, but half. It's 50 points. Average comment grades 15, 15, 10, and 10. Comment grades are out of 15. I don't have auto grading turned on, but I should have turned it on. And now I can go ahead and make these individual grades on comments or replies. And I want to make sure and do those before my auto grade date, so that Populi will know how to deal with that, how to handle it. Final thing is, once I've set up my graded discussion, some of you might be wondering, how do I then pull that into a lesson? Let's go here, I think week 3. So this lesson has no content. This is on the view default. So this is what the student would see if they clicked on here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the design page. I can change my availability windows or close discussions on a certain date. I'm going to go ahead, though, I can add different sections. If this was a real lesson, I would have some headings, some content, and so on. But I'm going to add a discussion. Sorry, let's add an assignment. Why are you here? And we're going to require them to complete that assignment, hit save. And so now on the view side, as soon as students see this here, they'll see a little discussion icon. And when they click on it, it'll take them to that discussion page so they can participate in the discussion. So that's how I get it into my lessons. Here's an example. I've got some content up here. I've got some videos here, some more written content, and then here's a discussion and a quiz. And that takes us to this other discussion I was showing you. So that was short and sweet. Any questions on graded discussions? Or anything in general regarding discussions or gradebook or courses? All right, I do not see any questions coming in. If you're typing a question right now, go ahead and hit enter, or just say, no, I'm almost done, or whatever. And I'll make sure and hold on just a little bit longer, but don't see any. So I appreciate you guys being here and hope to see you at the next one. So take care, everyone. Bye.